Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into a report today all about how AI is going to be used in a couple of years, like by 2025.
Uh-huh.
And you know what I thought was super interesting? It's not about robots and like all this sci-fi stuff.
Right.
It's about stuff that will impact our lives, like every day in just a couple of years.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to look at things like how AI is going to make buildings safer,
Okay.
healthcare even better, and even help us be more sustainable.
There's lots to talk about.
Yeah. This report actually says that AI can help spot fire hazards, like even before a smoke detector goes off.
Pretty amazing, right?
It is. That's
Yeah.
incredible. So today, we're going to figure out how AI will impact things, like I said, like our buildings and our health and all that. So let's get started.
Okay.
So maybe you could start by breaking down, like, what exactly are vision models and intelligent agents?
Sure.
Because I think some people hear those terms and they think like Star Wars.
Yeah, it sounds very futuristic,
It does.
but it's really based on like tech that's already here.
Oh, we
Like take vision models, they use something called convolutional neural networks,
Okay.
which are basically algorithms that can look at images and videos, visual data,
Mm-hmm.
and they can spot patterns and things that are out of place.
So, like, it's like teaching a computer to see, but, like, way better than we can.
Exactly. And way faster, too.
Wow.
Yeah, it can process so much information so quickly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's the seeing part, but then what about these intelligent agents?
Right. So that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The intelligent agents, they're like the brains of the operation.
Oh, okay.
They take all that info that the vision model sees,
Uh-huh.
and then they decide what to do with it.
Like take action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of this decision making, it's powered by something called reinforcement learning,
Okay.
where the AI basically learns by trying things out and seeing what works best.
So, like, it's always learning.
Always learning. Yeah, it's constantly improving.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so let's say there's a fire. The vision model would be looking at video from security cameras, right?
Yeah.
And looking for signs of like smoke or flames.
Got it.
And then the intelligent agent would decide what to do, like turn on the sprinklers or unlock the emergency exits.
So it's like having a super smart fire alarm system.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Way smarter than your average smoke detector.
Well, I mean, I'm always forgetting to blow out candles, so this sounds pretty good to me.
Right. It could definitely save lives.
Definitely. But the report also talks about using this in healthcare,
Absolutely.
which seems like even bigger a deal.
Oh, for sure. The potential there is huge.
Yeah.
And what's cool is it's not about replacing doctors.
Okay, good.
It's about giving them like a superpower,
Okay. Yeah,
you know? Like imagine an AI that can look at x-rays
Okay.
and find things that maybe a doctor could miss.
Like a second set of eyes, but like really good eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And it could catch things early,
Okay.
like early signs of a disease or prevent a wrong diagnosis.
Wow, that's so important.
It could really change healthcare for the better.
And it probably frees up doctors to spend more time with patients.
Exactly. And focus on like the human side of things.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like you barely get to see the doctor.
I know, right?
They're so busy.
It's all about efficiency these days.
Yeah, but this could change that.
It could definitely shift the focus.
So instead of like robots taking over, it's more like working together.
Exactly. Collaboration. That's the key.
I like that a lot.
Me too. And you know where else this is going to be big? Facilities management.
Really? I'm not sure I get that one.
It doesn't sound as flashy, right?
No, not really.
But trust me, it's fascinating.
Go.
Think about like a big building,
Okay.
all the systems, the heating, cooling, ventilation, the lights, security.
That's a lot.
It is. And right now it's mostly reactive.
Wait till something breaks,
Exactly. And then you fix it.
which I imagine gets expensive.
Oh, absolutely. And it's disruptive,
Mhm.
Like imagine the AC going out in the middle of summer.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right. So with AI, you can move to what's called predictive maintenance.
Okay.
So imagine sensors all over the building monitoring everything.
Right.
Temperature changes, vibrations, and a motor. All that data goes to the AI,
Mhm.
and it can predict problems before they happen.
So like a building whisperer.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the building can tell you what it needs.
That's so cool.
Right. And it can do more than just predict problems.
Okay, like what?
It can optimize things in real time, like adjust the lights or temperature based on how many people are in the building
Oh, wow.
to save energy, or like tell the cleaning crew where to focus based on foot traffic.
So we're talking about buildings that are like smarter and safer and better for the environment.
Exactly. All thanks to AI.
It's amazing how much potential there is.
It really is. And what's even cooler is that these AI systems, they keep learning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they get better and better over time.
So the buildings get smarter over time, too.
Exactly. It's a continuous improvement process.
It makes you think about like the future of our cities and our workplaces and even our homes.
Absolutely. It's a whole new way of thinking about the spaces we live and work in.
But if AI is like always watching and collecting data
Mhm.
about our buildings and how we use them,
Hmm.
doesn't that kind of raise some privacy concerns?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's something we should definitely discuss.
Okay, so we'll dive into that more in the next part of our deep dive then.
Sounds good. So before we get into like all the privacy stuff,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that this report is really about AI helping people, not replacing them.
Yeah, we talked about that a little with the doctors in the buildings.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about like other parts of our lives too.
Right. Well, think about how much time we spend doing the same things over and over.
Yeah.
Or like looking at tons of data like emails, spreadsheets.
Oh, spreadsheets.
I know, right? Even planning trips or grocery shopping. It's all stuff that AI could help with.
Okay, yeah, that part sounds pretty nice.
Right. And maybe even do it for us completely.
So then what would we do all day?
Well, it's not that we'd have nothing to do. It's more like we'd be free to focus on things that humans are good at.
Like what?
Like being creative, solving problems, thinking critically, building relationships.
Okay, yeah, those are all important.
Right, those are the things that AI can't really do yet.
So it's not about working less. It's about working differently.
Exactly. Imagine all the time you could save if you didn't have to do all that boring stuff.
I like the sound of that.
You could use that time for new ideas, working with other people, finding solutions to big problems.
That does sound like a pretty ideal day at work.
Right. But I know what you're thinking.
Okay, what am I thinking?
What about all the jobs?
Yeah, if AI is doing all the work, what happens to the people?
That's a really important question, and the report talks about that too.
Okay, good.
It's not about pretending that some jobs won't go away,
Hmm.
but it's about being ready for it.
Okay,
We need to help people learn new skills and adapt.
makes sense.
As AI takes over some jobs, new ones will pop up,
Oh, like what?
like AI trainers, data analysts, even AI ethicists.
I've never even heard of that.
Right. Those jobs didn't exist a few years ago.
That's crazy to think about.
It is, and this isn't like way in the future.
Huh.
It's happening now.
Wow.
And it's going to happen even faster in the next few years.
Okay, so we need to be ready.
We do, and that brings us back to privacy.
Okay?
If AI is going to be everywhere looking at our data, managing our buildings, helping our doctors,
Right.
we need to make sure our information is safe.
That makes sense. But how do we do that?
Well, it starts with building AI systems that are secure and private from the beginning.
Okay.
We need to be clear about what data is being collected, how it's being used, who can see it.
I guess that's like transparency.
Yeah, exactly. And you need really strong security so no one can hack in or steal the data.
So it's not just about the AI itself, it's about the rules around it.
Right. It's about the ethics of it all.
Okay. And who decides those rules?
That's a tough one. There's no easy answer.
Yeah.
It's going to take everyone working together, governments, tech companies, researchers, even regular people like us.
Okay.
We need to talk about this openly and honestly, about the good and the bad, and figure out how to use AI for good.
That sounds like a really big job.
It is, but we have to do it.
Yeah, because AI is getting more and more powerful every day.
It is. So these ethical questions are super important.
Okay, so what else does this report talk about?
Well, it also talks about how AI can do more than just fix problems.
Okay.
It can create new possibilities.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Tell more. All right, so we're back for the last part of our AI deep dive, and we've talked about a lot like the tech stuff, the impact on different jobs, and of course the ethical side of it all.
Mhm.
But now I want to hear about those new possibilities you mentioned.
Right.
What kind of future can AI help us build?
Well, the report talks about AI not just like making things easier or faster,
Yeah.
but actually helping us do things we couldn't do before and like boosting our creativity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And one area that's really interesting is personalized experiences.
Personalized experiences, like what does that even mean?
So imagine like your home, your work, even your city changing to fit you perfectly.
Okay, that sounds pretty sci-fi.
It does, but it's closer than you think.
Really?
Yeah, like your smart home could learn your routine
Okay.
and adjust the lights, temperature, even the music to match your mood.
So like it knows when I need to relax or when I need to focus?
Exactly. Or like your office could recognize you when you walk in and set up your desk just how you like it.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Right. And it goes even further. Think about a city where traffic just flows perfectly.
Oh, okay, that would be a miracle.
I know, right? But AI could make it happen. By, like, controlling traffic lights and public transportation in real time
Oh, wow.
based on where people need to go.
So no more rush hour.
Maybe not. Or imagine education that's customized for every student,
Okay, that makes sense.
so everyone can learn at their own pace.
And like healthcare that's tailored to your genes and lifestyle.
Exactly. It's all about using AI to make things work better for each individual.
That's a pretty amazing vision of the future.
It is, but of course there's a big question here.
Okay, what's that?
All this personalization requires a ton of data,
Right.
so how do we protect our privacy?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, are we giving up our privacy for all this convenience?
Well, it's about finding the right balance.
Okay.
We need to be clear about what data is being collected and how it's used.
Right.
And people need to have control over their own data.
So it's not an all or nothing thing.
It's not. We can have both personalization and privacy.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, and this is why talking about responsible AI is so important.
Uh-huh.
We need to figure out the rules now before it's too late.
Yeah, it feels like we're at a really important moment.
The choices we make now will shape the future.
No pressure.
Right. But it's exciting too.
It is. There's so much potential.
There is, and while there are challenges, I'm optimistic.
Me too. Yeah. I think AI can really make a difference.
I think so too.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure. It's been fun.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Keep asking questions. Keep learning about AI, because this is just the beginning.
It is.
And the future is ours to shape.